Two of the most iconic luxury sedans in history both just went fully electric at the exact same time, and the numbers they're putting up are absolutely wild. The 2027 Mercedes C-Class Electric and the 2027 BMW i3. Two completely new cars, both built from the ground up as EVs, both running 800-volt charging systems, and both landing in dealerships at roughly the same moment. This isn't Mercedes updating a gas car with a battery. This isn't BMW slapping an electric motor into an old platform. These are clean-sheet, next-generation machines, and they're going head-to-head in a segment that hasn't seen this kind of competition in years. So the question is, which one do you actually buy? We're going to go through every single category: design, performance, range, charging, interior, tech, price, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where each car wins and where it completely falls apart.
Let's start with how these things look, because both of them look dramatically different from what came before. The Mercedes C-Class Electric, officially called the C400 4MATIC, is a proper redesign. It's not the gas C-Class with a new nose. It's longer than the old model by 3.6 inches overall, and the wheelbase is stretched by 3.8 inches. That extra length pushes it from compact territory right into mid-size territory. At 192.2 inches long, it's only 2.7 inches shorter than the E-Class. So this is now a bigger car than the C-Class you're used to. The front end gets a massive illuminated grille, similar to what Mercedes put on the electric GLC, with a star motif built right into the headlights and taillights. The roofline has a coupe-like sweep to it, a fastback shape that reduces drag. And here's a detail that's kinda crazy. There are 162 individual illuminated stars embedded into the panoramic glass roof. That's not a gimmick, that's a design statement. The BMW i3 goes in a completely different direction. BMW calls this their Neue Klasse design language, which translates to new class, a nod to the iconic BMW sedans from the 1960s that basically saved the company. The i3 is 1.5 inches wider, 1.6 inches longer, and 1.6 inches taller than the current gas 3 Series, but it still feels compact in proportion. BMW kept the long hood, short overhangs, and sloping greenhouse that make a 3 Series look like a 3 Series, then modernized the surface details. There are muscular flared wheel arches, sharp triangular headlights, and a completely reworked take on BMW's classic kidney grills. Design verdict? The Mercedes looks more dramatic and premium. The BMW looks more like a driver's car. If you care about turning heads at a valet, the C-Class Electric wins. If you want something that feels athletic and purposeful, the i3 hits differently.
This is where things get really interesting, because both of these cars are genuinely fast. The Mercedes C400 4MATIC runs 2 electric motors, one on each axle, for a combined output of 482 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That's on an all-wheel drive setup. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in 3.9 seconds. To put that in context, the current Mercedes-AMG C43, a performance car, makes 416 horsepower. The base electric C-Class beats it. Mercedes also mentioned they're working on an AMG version of the electric C-Class that will produce around 900 horsepower. That's a whole other conversation for another day. The rear motor on the C400 has a 2-speed transmission. First gear for aggressive acceleration off the line, second gear for efficient highway cruising. The front motor can fully disconnect from the drivetrain when you don't need it, which helps with range. The system runs on an 800-volt architecture and uses a 94 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack.
Now the BMW i350 xDrive. It also uses dual electric motors with all-wheel drive, and it produces 463 horsepower and 476 pound-feet of torque. BMW hasn't officially released a 0 to 60 time yet, but given that 463 horsepower is only 10 horsepower less than the manual, non-competition version of the G80 M3, the performance expectations are extremely high. The i3 runs BMW's 6th generation eDrive technology on an 800-volt platform.
BMW says this new system is 25% more efficient and delivers 30% more range than the previous generation. The i3's battery pack, which BMW hasn't officially confirmed the size of, but is widely believed to match the iX3 SUV at 107.8 kilowatt-hours, uses cylindrical cells that are integrated directly into the chassis structure. That's not just good for energy density, it actually improves the car's torsional rigidity.
Performance verdict. The Mercedes has a slight power advantage at 482 horsepower versus 463, and Mercedes has confirmed the 3.9-second 0-60 sprint. BMW hasn't given an official time yet, but the i3 will be extremely close. Both cars are genuinely quick. Edge to Mercedes until BMW confirms the i3's acceleration numbers.
Range is where these two cars separate from each other and from most of the competition. The Mercedes C400 has a WLTP-rated range of 473 miles on a full charge. That's the European testing standard, which is more generous than what the EPA measures here in the US. Outlets like Car and Driver and Motor One estimate the real-world EPA figure will land somewhere around 350 miles. Still very good. Mercedes says with one brief charging stop, the C400 can cover more than 1,000 kilometers. Think Berlin to Paris on a single day.
The BMW i3 claims a provisional WLTP range of 559 miles. Again, WLTP is more generous than EPA testing. BMW's own internal testing, which mirrors the EPA's methodology, puts the estimated range at 440 miles. That's a significant number. For comparison, the Tesla Model 3 long range sits around 358 miles EPA. The current BMW i4 eDrive 40 gets around 301 miles. The i3 at 440 miles would be one of the longest-range electric sedans on sale at any price point. Range verdict. BMW wins, and it's not particularly close. 440 estimated EPA miles versus around 350. If range anxiety is something you think about, the i3 gives you a much bigger cushion.
Both cars use 800-volt charging systems, which means both can handle the fastest public chargers available, but the speeds are different. The Mercedes C400 can DC fast charge at up to 330 kilowatts. At that rate, Mercedes says you can add over 200 miles of WLTP range in just 10 minutes. Going from 10% to 80% battery takes 22 minutes. The BMW i3 can DC fast charge at up to 400 kilowatts. That's 70 kilowatts faster than the Mercedes. BMW says that's up to 30% faster than their previous generation charging technology. At 400 kilowatts, the i3 can add 249 miles of range in 10 minutes, and it hits the 10 to 80% mark in 21 minutes. 1 minute faster than the Mercedes, but more total miles added in that same 10-minute window. The i3 also supports bidirectional charging in 3 different modes. Vehicle to load lets you plug external devices directly into the car's battery. Think running a job site or camping gear. Vehicle to home lets you pair the i3 with a solar setup to offset your electricity costs. Vehicle to grid lets you actually sell energy back to the electrical grid. The Mercedes hasn't announced bidirectional charging for the C400. Charging verdict? BMW wins, both on peak charging speed and on versatility. 400 kilowatts versus 330 kilowatts, plus bidirectional charging that the Mercedes doesn't offer.
Step inside the Mercedes C-Class Electric, and the first thing you notice is the screens. Mercedes offers the available 39.1-inch MBUX Hyperscreen. That's a single continuous panel stretching across almost the entire dashboard. It houses a 10.3-inch digital instrument cluster, 2 14-inch touchscreens, and a passenger-side display, all in one piece. Even without the top-spec Hyperscreen option, the base setup gives you a driver display and a central infotainment screen. Everything runs through Mercedes' new MB.OS software, designed to update over the air, so it doesn't get outdated.
Comfort is taken seriously. The electric motors are specially tuned to run quietly. Mercedes added noise-insulating laminated glass on the front windows, extra sound insulation throughout the cabin, and a new air conditioning system designed specifically to be quieter. Optional seats can heat, cool, and massage, and there's an optional 4D audio system that actually creates physical vibrations through the seatbacks. Mercedes is comparing the refinement level to their S-Class, and while that's a big claim, the engineering behind it suggests they're at least trying to get there. Cargo space is also up. The trunk gives you 16.6 cubic feet of storage, 4 cubic feet more than the current gas C-Class, and there's a front trunk for extra storage, though Mercedes hasn't specified the size yet. The BMW i3's interior is built around the driver first. The centerpiece is BMW's panoramic vision display, a seamless piece of glass that stretches from one A-pillar to the other across the full width of the windshield. It's not just a heads-up display, it's a full information system that sits right in your line of sight, so you never have to look away from the road. Below that, there's a 17.9-inch central touchscreen with a distinctive parallelogram shape, running BMW's new operating system X. Amazon Alexa is built in for voice control. There's also an optional 3D head-up display that adds another layer of information projected onto the windshield. Interior space is similar to the current Gas 3 series. Because the i3 didn't grow dramatically in size, rear legroom is about the same, but the squarer roofline does give more headroom in the back. Interior verdict: the Mercedes wins on luxury, comfort, and sheer drama. The BMW wins on driver engagement and visibility through its panoramic vision system. If you want to feel like you're in a private lounge, go Mercedes. If you want everything exactly where your eyes already are, go BMW. Both cars come loaded with tech, but the approaches are very different. The Mercedes C400 runs the MB.OS operating system, which is designed to get better over time through software updates. Navigation actively plans routes based on your energy usage, traffic, and charging station availability. It manages most of that automatically in the background. The optional augmented reality head-up display overlays information onto your actual view of the road. Optional predictive air suspension uses Google Maps data and real-time cloud inputs to prepare the dampers for road imperfections before you hit them. Micro-LED headlights with adaptive high beams are available in the US for the first time on a C-Class. The BMW i3 runs on what BMW calls the heart of joy, 4 high-speed computer processors that manage every vehicle function: driving, braking, steering, charging, and energy recovery. BMW says this system responds 10 times faster than their previous generation, meaning the car's electronic systems are reacting and making micro-corrections far more quickly than before. The panoramic iDrive system integrates with BMW OS X, and the car supports over-the-air updates. Driving Assistant Plus gives you both hands-on and hands-free highway driving capability. The i3 also uses BMW's NACS, North American Charging Standard, port natively, meaning you can plug directly into Tesla's supercharger network without any adapter. Tech verdict? Extremely close. The Mercedes has a more luxurious feel to its technology, especially with the Hyperscreen and the predictive suspension. The BMW has a more driver-focused tech approach and better hardware integration. The Tesla supercharger compatibility on the i3 is a genuinely useful real-world advantage, because superchargers are everywhere.
This is where things get complicated, because neither car has confirmed final pricing. The Mercedes C400 4MATIC is expected to start somewhere north of $54,000, with estimates from multiple outlets landing in the $55,000 to $65,000 range. With options, you can easily push this well above $70,000. It goes on sale in the first half of 2027. The BMW i3 is expected to start around $50,000. Multiple sources point to this figure as a pretty safe bet. Production begins in August 2026, with first deliveries expected before the end of 2026 and into early 2027.
So the BMW potentially enters at around $5,000 less than the Mercedes, with more range, faster charging, and bidirectional charging included. That said, pricing isn't confirmed on either car, and options packages will change the math quickly. Price verdict. Based on expected pricing, the BMW i3 appears to offer more capability at a lower entry point. But until both cars have confirmed window stickers, that's not set in stone.
So here's the honest breakdown. If you want the most luxurious experience, the most dramatic interior, and a car that genuinely feels like it punches above its class, the 2027 Mercedes C-Class Electric is it. The 39.1-inch Hyperscreen, the S-Class level refinement, the 162-star panoramic roof, and the elegant design make it one of the most premium EVs at this price point. You're getting 482 horsepower, a 3.9-second 0 to 60, and around 350 miles of real-world range. It's a car you buy to feel something special every time you get in.
If you want the most capable EV, the better range, the faster charger, and the car that's more focused on actual driving, the 2027 BMW i3 is the one. 440 miles of estimated EPA range is class-leading. 400 kilowatt charging is faster than almost anything else on the road. Bidirectional charging means this car can actually power your house. The panoramic vision system is genuinely different from anything else in this segment, and BMW's Neue Klasse platform is brand new in a way that should pay off for years. The Mercedes is the better luxury car. The BMW is the better electric car. Which one matters more to you is the question only you can answer. If you want to see how both of these compare to the Tesla Model 3, that video is right here.